Hi, boys and girls. This week's story is The Moon. Right? You have a copy of this book in your orange folders that were given to you. So go ahead and pause the video, find your folder, and find this book. It's called The Moon, and it's got a picture of the moon on the front. And then we'll go ahead and we'll read it together. All right. So now that you have your copy of your book, we're going to read our story together. We're going to start by doing a book walk or a picture walk through our story. This book is all about the moon. All right, so before we read, we'll take a look at our focus question and also our words that we need to know and what pattern we're going to see repeated in this text. All right, so if you open to the first page, it's going to have our focus question. All right, and the focus question is, how does the moon look different over time? All right, so think about when you look up at the moon, up in the sky at night. Does it always look the same or does it look different? All right, and how does it look different over time? That's what we're going to be able to answer after reading this story. All right, if you flip to the next page, there's a red box that says words to know. We're going to read them together. Okay, so repeat them after me. Changes, cycle, dark, different, full, thin. Very nice. All right. Let's go through and let's look at some of the pictures in our book before we start to read. All right. So I can see on this first page there are some pictures and it has the moon and how it looks different. All right. So it shows a whole bunch of pictures of the moon. It's a pretty night sky. Do you see a moon in that picture? I don't see one, but I see lots of stars. Very pretty. Right, there's a moon. That moon looks very small. Right, it looks a little bit bigger in this picture, about half of a moon. Oh, and then this is a full moon. Right, it's the whole moon that we can see in that sky. Does it look different in this picture? Yeah, now it's back to half. Ooh, this one is very thin, right? We only see a little bit of the moon. And then we don't see it again in this picture, right? So just by looking at the pictures, we can see that the moon changes how it looks in the sky from what we can see, all right? So we're going to read this story together. We're going to see a pattern in the text that's repeated on most of the pages. All right, and the pattern that we're going to see is the moon is, and then it's going to tell us how the moon looks, and then it's going to say tonight. All right, so we have to fill in that blank. The moon is blank tonight, and on each page it's going to follow that pattern, except for the beginning page, and then also the ending page is a little bit different. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the beginning where the story starts. All right, and just from our picture walk, right, and from what we've seen so far, do you think that this is a literary story that has characters and setting and plot? Or do you think this is an informational text that's giving us information on a topic? Yeah, this is an informational text, right? And just from the clues that we've seen, we know that the main idea or the topic of this book is all about the moon, right, and how it changes. All right, so we already know that this is an informational text, so we can use what we know about informational text to help us better understand the story as we're reading. All right, so it starts on page 3, right, and it has this picture of all the different moon phases. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to read this story together. All right, it says, the moon looks different over time. The changes happen in a cycle. What is a cycle? We've learned about it in different science things like the life cycle and the water cycle, right? It means something that's repeated over and over and over again. It goes through all the different stages over and over again. Okay. Here's our pattern. The moon is dark tonight, right? So it's dark. We can't see the moon when it's dark. The moon is thin tonight. The moon is half full tonight. The moon is full tonight. The moon is half full tonight. The moon is thin tonight. The moon is dark tonight. The cycle starts over again. All right, nice job. Let's think back to our focus question now that we've read our story. All right. How does the moon look different over time? So using your text and some details, how does the moon look different over time? Sometimes it looks full, sometimes it looks thin, sometimes it looks dark, sometimes it looks half full, right? So use some of those details to answer that question. There's an activity that goes along with this posted in Seesaw. You also have some worksheets and activities that go along with this book in your orange folder. All right, so don't forget to take a picture and send it to me. I can't wait to see all of the work you're doing. Continue to practice reading this story. You can read it with a brother or sister, or read it with mom or dad, or read it to yourself. And practice reading it so that you can get really good at reading it. And then we're going to do a recorded reading on Friday. All right. Thanks for listening.